So I knew eventually they would try to come for my income, right? So as a lot of you guys know, I've been exposing the corruption within these nonprofits and charities and organizations in Victoria, BC, for basically committing fraud and not actually doing what they're positioned to do, what they claim to do around poverty relief and other things of that nature, right? So they've tried to blackball me and blacklist me from everywhere because I'm exposing them, and it's a multi-million dollar, fraudulent operation, right? And every organization is involved in it. Every nonprofit, every charity in this city is involved in it. They're all friends. They all know each other. Those who run Our Place, those who run ARC, those who run Kool-Aid and the coalition, they're all friends and they all know each other. So if you end up becoming an enemy of these people, then they will all articulately and in an organized manner work against you to try to, mess with whatever they can in your life to try to cause you grief because of the fact that I'm exposing them, for what they're doing and their frauds, right? So I'm pulling their cards and they don't like it. So they want to try to cause harm to me. But they don't realize, man, I've overcome everything, including homelessness for 7 years in this city, got employed, got into a one-bedroom condo. I can do the same thing somewhere else all over again. Okay, so these people are trying to defeat and destroy somebody that they can't, and it's only making them look even more corrupt and worse, right? So here's what's going on now. So I actually, the reason why I was able to get a place too, right, is because I was able to get a rental supplement from BC Housing, right? I didn't even know it was from BC Housing, to be honest. But really, it's the government's money, and the government, rips everyone off anyway. So, bottom line is that, I'm getting this rental supplement for 2 years. I have a place, right? Pacifica Housing is the rental management that I was under. And they're also affiliated with BC Housing. They're all friends. The people that work at BC Housing are friends with the people that work at Pacific Housing. So if you piss somebody off in one of these places, they will reach out. They will try and get at you through their friends and their networks and say, hey, mess this guy's file up, or hey, make sure this guy doesn't get his check. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. They do this. I've watched it happen at all of these shelters, all these organizations. They're all malicious. They're all immature, and they're all cowardly, and they prey on low-income people. And these are the same people that work at these establishments that are supposed to be helping these marginalized communities that are going through poverty and homelessness. So this city, the reason why I was homeless for 7 years is because of the system. It's built to keep you down and keep you homeless. They couldn't use drugs against me and say, oh, you're just a drug addict and you don't want to deal with your recovery and blah, blah, blah. I'm a pretty, good looking, clean cut, young man. Don't use drugs. Never did when I was homeless. you know, uh, so they couldn't use those things against me, right? And that's what they try to use against homeless people. Oh, you're just a drug addict. So that didn't work for me. That pissed them off really bad. And not only did I defeat, homelessness, but I exposed the corruption within all of these places and the abuse that happens to the homeless. So Pacifica Housing is involved in this machine. They're also malicious. BC Housing is very malicious. They've been caught for fraud. So there's a lot of corruption, and they're not scared to show you that. They don't care anymore at this point if you know or people know or not. They've already been exposed and got away with it. So they feel like they can get away with anything at this point. So anyways, 30 days ago I left and moved from my place and changed my address over. The staff, I talked to a BC staff, Sarah Sadler, and I have the screenshots and everything to show that. And she said, yeah, I got all your documents. She sent them to me. I filled it out, gave them all to her, sent them all to her. She said, yeah, everything checks out. Everything's good. Direct deposit. You should be getting your money on time as usual. Direct deposit. Everything's good to go. And then all of a sudden, she says, oh, I'm leaving now and I'm not going to be working here anymore, so I won't be responding to these emails anymore. And then just email went dead. Couldn't talk to her no more. But she forwarded me to David and Joel from BC Housing. And I emailed them I just wanted to make sure that the direct deposit went through, because she wasn't that clear about that part. And specifically because I said, after she said all the documents went through and everything's good to go, I said, okay, just wanted to make sure that the direct deposit sheet also went through, right? And then I got that automated email stating that her last day is February something, blah blah blah, and she won't be working there no more. So forward me to Joel and David. But anyways, emailed them both for weeks, never got back to me. Somebody else from BC Housing, or I called BC Housing, told them, like, listen, I'm trying to, make sure that my direct deposit's set up and check doesn't go to the wrong address, everything like that. Just want to confirm one more time. And then the lady's like, yeah, we don't have like any of your documents. And I don't know what happened. And I was like, okay, well, I have screenshots showing that Sarah Sadler from BC Housing said that she did get all my documents and everything was approved A-OK. So that's odd, right? So then I'm like, okay. She's like, well, you need to upload them all again. And she sent me to this link, pof.bchousing.org, for me to upload the documents. And then I do that. And then she calls me back and says, like 20 minutes later, and says, oh, never mind. If you upload the documents to that portal, they're not going to be accepted. You have to wait to hear from David and Joel, right? They ain't going to contact me back. I said I've been waiting weeks for them to contact me back, and either one of them haven't, right? So this is a game that they play. They do this to try to burn you out, to make you give up until the point where you just don't get your money. You just don't get the check. When you become an enemy of these people, right? And they all work in sync together, in coordinates together, right? So all these organizations do this. They blackball you, they blacklist you, they F with your file, they mess with you, they do anything they can to cause you grief. If you stand up to them and pull their card and expose them for the abuse that they participate in and the fraud. So anyways, so we go through all that whole process. David finally contacts me back, talk to him, re-upload all my stuff again, give it all the documents to him. He said, yeah, everything's good to go. He called me, talked to him on the phone. He said, yeah, got all your documents. Everything's okay. You will get your money in direct deposit, blah, blah. And this was like a week before check day at the end of the month, right? And I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking in my head, you know what? I don't trust these people. I don't believe them, man. They're playing games with me. So I was like, if this happens again, that's not a coincidence. This is the 4th or 5th time, right, in a row, right? And I can see, and it's weird because Sarah said that she updated my new address. And then when I called BC Housing and talked to the lady on the phone and I had to upload it through that portal, she said, I did update your address, though, to whatever, right, to the new address. And so canceled it to make sure it doesn't go to the old address. And then I talked to David and he says, oh yeah, didn't get your documents, got to re-upload them. He said, okay, I updated your address. How is it that 2 other people, staff, have updated my address, but you're updating my address for the 3rd time? I don't think that that's possible, because that would imply that the first 2 people did not update my address, but they both said they did. And I recorded the call and the screenshot of the email and made sure that I had that proof of them saying that. So there's already a problem. There's something wrong here. And excuse me. And none of this adds up, right? It's not adding up. So I knew they were messing with me, and I knew why. When I looked these people up, I saw that they're affiliated with our place and the coalition. And these are places that I'm exposing on my website, that I'm, for the abuse that they initiate against the homeless. And, they're just a bunch of fake people. So I called them out on a bunch of videos, and this is what happens, right? They try to reach into your life, your personal life, private life, through these other organizations that handle your income and other stuff, and they try to get you cut off, try to make you ineligible. They try to provoke you and instigate you to get you upset, so that way you respond emotionally, and then they can say, oh, look, you're the bad guy, you're the mentally unstable or whatever, and now we're not issuing you any more money. So they do this on purpose, called entrapment. Right, and they do it to people that are on disability for mental disorders like, bipolar, ADHD, and anxiety, which I've been diagnosed with. But they specifically target low-income people. And homeless people, and it's weird because these are the same people that work at these places that are supposed to be helping. So anyways, so now I'm thinking I'm going to get my money. Money never comes. Right at the last day, Joel emails me and says, "Oh, I updated your address and everything's good to go, but unfortunately your direct deposit sheet wasn't accepted." And I'm like, okay, but I just spoke to David a week ago and he said that it was. And how could you update my address for the 5th time after 4 other staff already updated my address? That doesn't make any sense. And when I show you these screenshots now and you see that, right, it's quite obvious that they're working together to do this to me on purpose. And I know why. Because when I looked them up and I figured out who they were, they're affiliated with all my enemies and all the people that I'm exposing and calling out for this corruption, right? So that makes sense, yeah, and this is the typical behavior that exactly what I expose of these fucking low-life, goof, fucking predator, pedophile pieces of shit, because that's what they are. They honestly, they're sick. There's something wrong with people that work in fields of homelessness, mental health, poverty, low income, and harass and abuse their power over these people, marginalized people that are going through these things, right? So you got to be a real special type of sick to do that, just because you don't like the fact that, their opinion or their experience that they went through while going through homelessness for 7 years. So they see me as a threat. I got employed to all these organizations, and then I basically exposed them all because they were all in it for money and they were not genuine as the way that they appeared to be to the public. So I'm interfering with millions of dollars, and there's retaliation for that. And this is one of the tactics, right? This is actually called gangstalking, believe it or not. There's an actual term behind it, and it is a felony. But these people are, backed up by the law, and the law is also, a participant in a lot of this corruption. So it's just a corrupt place. It's not a place you want to be, you know what I mean? But I've been fighting this place to survive for a decade, and I didn't give up and tap out and go home or back to Ontario the way they wanted me to, and I stayed and I fought. And I made it all the way up the ranks, all the way to the top, to the point where I was almost on the board of the coalition to end homelessness. But when they saw I was genuine, they didn't. They realized that, hey, this guy's actually from the streets and he actually went through homelessness, and we're all lying about our lived experience. So he's gonna make us look really, really bad. We can't let him in, because if he flips on us and sees what we're really doing and exposes us from the inside, well, that takes the whole house down, and we can't allow that risk. So let's cut him off before he gets to that point. And that's what they did, right? So yeah, that's kind of how it works out here in Victoria. You got to play the game, right? And that's the only way you're going to get employed or get out of homelessness. You have to be part of the circus, so to speak. So anyways, then Joel emails me and says this to me, and then I was just like, I tried to reply to him, and immediately it went blocked. Try to reply to Sarah, blocked. So before I even got to reply with my documents, these people have blocked me. Like, it literally says, sender or admin blocked this email, and like, I'll show you the screenshot. I got the screenshot, but I was just like, wow, they tried to act like it was like a vacation reply thing. And then Joel was like, when I emailed back, it was like, oh, I'm no longer at the office until August 1st. And like, I'll be gone for 3 months. You just emailed me 30 seconds ago, and I just replied to your email. And now automatically I'm getting hit with the automation email saying that you're not there. And they still haven't replied to me, and it's Monday, you know what I'm saying? I'm calling all these places. They're not going to reply to me. They're not, okay? They're not trying to give me the money. They're trying to force me back into homelessness intentionally, back into poverty, because I exposed the entire system and I beat it. So now they want to put me back to where I started, because they know now that none of the shelters will provide services for me because I exposed them, right? And they're all corrupt, and I wouldn't want to give my life over to them. They would poison me and try to kill me, as they already have, because that's what they do to the homeless out here. They just met somebody from Hamilton that's a lot stronger than most people out here and a lot smarter. And I didn't have an addiction that they could, use as leverage and power over me, right? And discredit me. So I'm a credible, well-articulated person before I even came to BC. You know what I'm saying? So they met their match finally, and it's really pissing them off. So they're coming after my income now. So it's just hilarious. I've been documenting this whole thing since I was first homeless 7 years ago. I documented everything, and they've never run into somebody that would be that committed and dedicated to, video documenting their experience and basically showing the insides of this enterprise machine that feeds off of the fuel of the blood, sweat, and tears of the homeless, basically. And it's nothing of what it appears to be to the public. And I had to be homeless for a decade out here to figure that out, and then also get on the other side of things, getting employed to organizations, seeing how they get their funding, learning how they write grants, learning how they balance the budget. Oh, we'll just say this costs 20 grand even though it only costs 15. We'll just say this one's gonna run us 30 grand even though it's only going to be 10 grand, and then we'll that's ROI, return of investment, profit margins for us. So, and then they come up with these social issues, solutions for social issues that aren't effective, that don't help anybody out there, and then they ask for funding and they get raised millions of dollars and they pocket all of it, and none of it goes to the homeless. So when I saw that and I witnessed it from both sides of the fence and it all came together, I started to question things and people in these positions. And then once they felt that, they're like, uh-oh, he's flipping, let's get rid of him. So they tried to slander me, false criminal accusations, public stuff. They try to do whatever they could. So it's been a war, right? I've been at war with a bunch of malicious, lying, manipulative, narcissistic pieces of shit gangstalkers. So it is what it is. I can always beat the system again. They want to try to take everything away from me. That's okay, because then there's going to be a lot of damage that's going to happen to a lot of their infrastructures. You know what I'm saying? And there's going to be a lot of fucking shit that's going to happen. And they think that I can't do it, and they're like, oh, well, we'll just call the cops. Okay, well, the cops can't help you either. You know what I'm saying? So, sorry. You know what I mean? They're, you know what I mean? Trust me, I'm not going to say too much, but no, it's, you guys have a little bit of some false security going on there. Okay. Vic PD already want to try to get me. They've been trying to frame me forever. They hate me because I call all this shit out, and it's mostly females and women that work in these organizations and that I'm calling out because they do that strategically. And also the Vic PD, it's mostly power tripping, men hating, men dominating, fucking psychopathic, feminist women. It just really is. Like, you can ask anybody, right? And they are power hungry, man. Like, if they can't get you to jump, then they're pissed. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't scare me. Where I come from, yeah, I won't even go down that route. But anyways, these people are intentionally doing this to me. They don't intend on giving me my check at all. And this has been a 30-day process that you people have had 30 days to straighten this out, and I've been contacting you for 30 days, actually more than 30 days. This has been going on since February 22nd. So there's no excuse for it. It's obviously intentional, and just another, layer. So check this out. So after all that, right, still never got my money, right? 4 or 5 different staff saying that they updated my address, canceled the other check that went to the old address, and assured me that I would get my money, and that the other check has been canceled and it will not be going back to the old address. 4 different staff said this 4 different times in a 30-day time frame. Is it possible that many people could get it wrong, the same thing over and over that many times for that time frame period of 30 days? No, because you can't update an address that's already been updated by somebody else 2 weeks ago. And then another person a week later says, oh, I updated your address. You can't update an address in a system 3 or 4 times in a row from 4 different staff. They would have seen that the first staff already updated the address. And why would they say they updated the address if they didn't? Because they're being malicious, right? They're intentionally doing this, right? So I started to investigate. So now I contact Pacifica Housing. They hate me too because I pulled out before that they could try to, make something up to try to kick me out, right? Because I made enemies with people that are on the board of Pacifica Housing, and that are affiliated, you know what I'm saying? Like, won't say no names, you know what I mean? Making the coalition, change their name to the Alliance to End Homelessness because they're, have to rebrand themselves because they ruined their reputation from committing fraud for decades, and somebody finally pulled their card and exposed them publicly in a articulate manner, in a very well put together, detailed, body of evidence. It really made them have to literally change their entire name. And, they've spent lots of money to brand that name. So it's very abnormal for them to have done that. And we all know what happened and why they did it and why people went to other fields and stuff like that. And they're running away. They're cockroaches, little fucking rats, and they're running, scattering like little fucking pieces of shit. And they want to try to hurt me, right? But they can't. They can't. Even if I lose every fucking thing, I've already had nothing and lived out of a fucking tent with no money for 7 years, you clowns. What are you guys, fucking stupid or what? What do you think's gonna happen to me? You fucking goofs. You know what I mean? So anyways, I'm always gonna win, bro. And I can just relocate outside of the province and keep smashing on you guys on a campaign. I haven't even fucking done anything significant yet to really, truly, really fucking fuck you guys over, which I can. When I start contacting your private sponsors and your private donors and the people, the individuals that monthly, invest financially with you guys, and they see that their money isn't actually doing what it's supposed to be doing, you guys are going to have problems financially. Your funding is going to end. You saw how the coalition got upset because there was no more money in the budget this year for homelessness, for these cockroaches and leeches to fucking, feed off of, these bottom feeders, to swallow up, because none of it goes to the actual cause. So they're pissed that their fucking $1 billion is not coming in this time. So nobody gets to eat this cycle. You know what I'm saying? There's no money, there's no funding. So I think that also happened. That's weird that just happened. Like, I've been doing this for a long time. Kind of odd, maybe they're figuring out, the federal government's figuring out that these fucking pieces of shit are literally swallowing what, millions and fucking billions of dollars around homelessness and addiction, and none of it's actually being utilized towards the cause, and it's just keeping them rich and building wealth in their families and their friends and stuff, and keeping them employed, giving them $200,000 per year salaries, getting paid more than doctors, and they do nothing to help anybody. So yeah, they're a bunch of fucking clowns, and they need to be exposed. And they are. And I haven't even tried yet. So, anyways, they don't want to, they're playing this game with me, right? On purpose. So I called Pacifica Housing. And it gets better, right? So now that I left them, you know what I mean, before they could get me, right? Because I knew that was coming. So they were probably pissed. They didn't even talk to me. They never wanted to talk to me, that organization, right? They never wanted to say anything. Now, I left them alone for a bit, right? But they are corrupt too, and now I've discovered that, through this process. So I talked to this lady on the phone, and I tell her, listen, BC Housing sent my check to the old address, and it's in the mailbox, and I can't get in it, you know what I'm saying? And I need that check today, you know what I'm saying? It's the first. So she's like, hold on 1 minute. Comes back on the phone like 3 seconds later, like as if she just went and did something when she didn't, to give me a response. They're so fake, and they think that nobody else can see what they're doing. It's so fucking lame. And she's like, "Oh well, it's a felony. It's a felony offense for us to go in that mailbox and blah blah blah." I'm like, so you're saying that Pacific Housing doesn't own its own mailing system inside of its own building? Oh no, it belongs to Canada Post. Yeah, Canada Post comes with the keys and stuff like that. Yeah, but you can still give me, if you're saying it's my mailbox, even though I moved and the mailbox doesn't belong to anyone yet because there's no other resident in that unit, then it's still my mailbox. So then that means you can meet me, give me my key, and I can open it and get my check. Right? Right. So it immediately was hostile. As soon as she came back on the phone, it's a felony offense. And I'm like, relax. Like, I'm just like, why are you freaking out? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's because they're ready to go to war, and they're ready to defend their position, because they're doing this intentionally, maliciously, and they're all working together, and they're all friends. Like, they all have each other on Facebook. Like, I looked and I saw, them liking each other's pictures and stuff, and bragging about their multiple vacations to Paris and shit. So these people are just, I don't know why they hate people in poverty and in the homeless so much. And people that come from this street life and that overcome it and overcome homelessness and get housed and get employed. I don't know why they hate so deeply these types of people. Excuse me, these types of people. I don't understand why. They have a very strong hate, but they always try to keep their professional display uncompromised. They try to make sure that they never lose composure or break character. But because of how hard I fight, they have slightly in these little areas, and I've been able to document that. And, they get away with doing stuff like this to a lot of different people. I spoke to other people, and people that have been cut off just for, they didn't like their attitude. Okay, well, the people that work at BC Housing, the money that they're issuing is not their money. It's not your money, okay? So stop attaching yourself to it like it's your money coming out of your pocket and you have some type of authority to dictate what happens with that money. Your only job is to issue. The eligibility process does not belong to you, but they manipulate it, and they will just change something in the file or look for, just make up a reason to say that you're ineligible so they don't have to give your income if you challenge them or if you have challenged their affiliates for the corruption that they participate in. So this is how this works out here in Victoria, BC. And this is why people are homeless. Because if they don't give me that, supplement, the only reason why I could afford to live out here was because of that supplement. That was the only reason why I could get a place. They know that, and that's why they're trying to take it away, because they want to get me back into homelessness, where they can get me in a place where I can't get any resources from any places, can't eat nowhere, can't shower nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Because I exposed all these places. They know that. So they know that they're like, yo, we got him in a corner. All we got to do is get his income away, and then he's dead. You know what I'm saying? And that's hilarious, because they don't realize I have several other backup plans, and it's only making you guys look worse. And then when I relocate and I get income in a different province and I use all of it, I think Alberta gives you like $2,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? So I could go out there and just get incomes, get on disability, get on whatever if I had to. You know what I'm saying? If we're talking about low incomes that these people are trying to manipulate and take away or whatnot, for people that were literally homeless like I was, just literally trying to get a foot in the door, get up. I even got employed. I got certifications. I was doing well. These people are malicious, and they stopped me from being able to pursue a career around advocacy work around homelessness intentionally, because they felt threatened by me. The fact that I really was a real dude that really did come from the street, and they're not. And they're faking their lived experience so that they can be justified in the money that they're raising around these social issues. Do you understand that now? So, this is what these losers do. They're straight up losers, man. And they hate people from Ontario. Still city tagged to my wrist. You already know what time it is. You know what I mean? And they don't like it, because the gangsters out here are fake. They didn't grow up in a hostile environment where they had to fight for their lives every day, get shot at, get stabbed, get robbed, stomped out on a daily basis, where there's gangs on every corner, like where I come from, where you can get shot in the face broad daylight for absolutely no reason, downtown Hamilton or Toronto. So it's really bad where I come from, and the gangsters out here didn't grow up in an environment like that. So they're really upset that somebody that really came from that life is over here talking about some shit, right? They don't like that. So they're all fake, and they feel threatened by my presence. And they should, because, that's what happens with fake people that are faking it till they make it, and a real guy enters the room. Then they all feel shook, and they're all like, how do we get rid of this guy? He's ruining our fun. He's ruining our show. He's making us not look cool no more, because we're not. We're frauds, right? So this is how all this started. So anyways, so right away the Pacifica ladies immediately responding hostile. It's a felony for me to open that mail. I'm not doing it. Like, okay, all I did was ask. Like, I don't know why you're responding in defensiveness. Like, obviously you were already prepared for this. You guys are already prepared and taking up your defensive positions before I even contact you, because I'm coming for my money. You know what I'm saying? And you guys all, articulated this together. You guys are just losers, like fucking losers, picking on people that are fucking dealing with poverty, homelessness, low income shit, trying to just get up. and they've tried to snuff out every one of my attempts, and I've made it farther than anybody has that became homeless in this fucking city that was out there with me in the tents and in the fucking shelter, you know what I mean? And I beat the game, so they're fucking pissed, man, because I fucking, I exposed them at the same time. They're fucking pissed. They're a bunch of little kids, man. They're a bunch of little fucking privileged, little suburban, little fucking teeny boppers, man, and they think they're fucking gangsters and shit. And they think I'm the fake fucking guy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm outside, bro. Like, go call your fucking guys and tell them to come meet me in Beacon Hill Park at nighttime, you fucking bird bitch ass motherfuckers. You won't do it. And they won't show up, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know why they act gangster with people that are fucking going through poverty and homelessness and pick on low-income people. And these are the same people that work at these places. Like, really? You know what I mean? Fucking pussies, man. Cowards. Anyways, just thought I'd bring this to, to your attention and show everybody, how corrupt, man, this fucking place is. It's so dirty, man. It's so dirty. Like, I did 10 years out here, been fighting the whole fucking time. Like, I should never had to have fought in the first place. Like, it should have been no problem. Get a place, get a job, develop a life, have a career, be fine. You're good. And I was well on my way to doing that. There should have been no reason for anything to go in any other direction. And it was manipulated and detoured by the same people that were operating these organizations that were supposed to be, they went bitter, they went weird, man. I saw, like, the corruption that was going on. Like, the one organization I was with is run by a guy, I won't say his name because he's going to call cops on me if I do, or his organization. But, he only hires women on purpose because he's a predator, okay? And he literally, like, a female contacted him because she saw my video about the work I was doing through this organization, and she was interested. Didn't even consult with me, just bypassed me, went straight to him, to my boss, basically. And he had her replace me, take my hours, my money, and my position and my role in the organization, and then he just let me fall off the face of the planet. And then when I said something about it and got upset about it, then all of a sudden now my contract's terminated, and he feels threatened. Like, you can't even say anything to these people. They're like, I'm calling the cops. You're threatening me. Like, you know what I mean? They're those kids, eh? Remember those kids at school? Fuck. You just walk by them. Wow, you hit me. Like, that's Victoria, BC. That's how these people, I swear to God, that's the best fucking description you could give of everybody in everybody out here in the city, man. The fucking weakest, corniest, fucking cowardliest people. Like, it's so, and they think they're like top shit. Like, that's the crazy part. Wow. Mind-boggling shit, brother. But wow, fucking crazy shit. Anyways, I don't know what else to say. Like, whatever. I fucking destroyed this place. I beat it. I got fucking beat the Matrix, beat everything, bro. Like, whatever. Like, you guys are already defeated. And here's the thing. Your whole system's exposed from the inside out. There's nothing you can do to stop that. You're not gonna do nothing to stop me, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I will relocate and use every, financial resource that I can tap into and dump it all into advertising Victoria, BC Profits and all of these videos to hundreds and thousands, if not millions of people. If I dropped $1,000 on a Facebook advertising campaign, that would reach roughly over 3.2 million people. And I can target just British Columbia, or I can just target, Vancouver and Victoria. Bottom line is, there's going to be millions of people. I will stack up $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000, and I will drop it all on an advertising campaign. I will pay for Google ads, YouTube ads, Facebook ads. I will pay for news outlet advertising slots, blogs. I will just annihilate you guys publicly, completely, to the point where you can't even feel confident in the work that you're not even really doing anymore. So, and then you're going to have nowhere to run anymore, right? Because mental health, addiction, and homelessness are the three avenues that you guys run to, you little predators, right? So eventually you're going to run out of places to go. And then you're going to have to move to Vancouver. Then you're going to have to try to do it there. And I'm going to make sure that I run my campaign there. You know what I mean? So it's never going to go away. Like, you guys, it's at the point where I'm interfering with hundreds of millions of dollars. They're probably going to try and pay a contract hitter to kill me. You know what I mean? I'm not going to, it kind of happens, when you expose these rich, wealthy, elite people for the fucking what they're doing, you know. And the coalition is actually founded by the Rockefeller Foundation, and you might know, you might want to go and look that up. And the Rothschilds. So these are vampires. These are bloodthirsty demon vampire satanic cult witchcraft worshipping psychopath narcissist, and they deserve to burn in hell. Honestly, can't find any other way to put it. Really, it's just the bully culture out here in Victoria, BC. So it is what it is, man. You guys can't beat me. Take away everything, I'll get it all back tenfold, and then I'll just put my foot on your next even worse. Like, you know what I'm saying? I have shit that I can't even release, because if I do, there will be a warrant for my arrest. Multiple. Okay? I have shit on these people that would ruin their fucking lives and their marriages and everything else. These people are sick and they're doing all kinds of nasty shit behind the fucking closed doors. I've spoken to ex-employees and everything. I've had meetings with them. They don't want to go public because they know these people are actually, you know, they'll come after you and they'll do things that most people can't, because it's a faction of the government. The BC Housing is actually, you know, run by a faction of the British Columbia government, and they've been caught for fraud, and they're malicious, and they won't disclose their salaries, and they're getting pressed, and they know, man, like, you know, they know their time is coming, man. Their time is almost up, you know. So they're pissed off, their money's getting touched, you know, and they're getting exposed, and you know their influence is going to be lost, and then they're not going to be able to run campaigns anymore and fundraise and all this stuff without looking like a bunch of fucking goof clowns, you know. So that this end result, right? I'm just going to keep documenting this shit, you know. I just wanted to make this video became too long, but I'll make another video now with all the screenshots and everything else, and then I'll add it to the end of this video, so when you watch this video at the end, it'll pop up at the end, and then you can see from step one all the way to the end how this took place. And then when you go and, you know, look up my other videos and my TikTok videos that have 30,000 views exposing these organizations, it's all going to make sense to you. And it's funny because the Joel guy that I spoke to, that from BC Housing, you know, I looked him up. Why not? He's a public community person working for the public. I think I'm allowed to do that, right? Just looked him up, right? And saw immediately our place in one of his pictures. So boom, okay, automatic connection. Okay, yeah, I've been calling out Grant and Susan, all these people. They're all plotting against me. They all want to try to charge me for slander and defamation because I'm exposing these nonprofits and charities for the fraud they commit and for the abuse that they initiate against their own staff, their own employees, and their own and the homeless people that they claim to serve. So it's been going on for a long time. I'm not the only person that knows about it or said something about it, but I'm the only person that's put this much effort into tearing down their empire, and it's affecting them severely. And this is why they're trying so desperately to harm me in my financial circumstance, because they're all friends. BC Housing is all friends with everybody at Pacifica Housing, and BC Housing is ever friends with everybody at our place, and they've all worked. People that work at BC Housing worked at our place, and they're connected. And they're all got each other on Facebook, liking each other's, laughing at each other's posts. I already saw it, made all the connections. I have an entire huge notepad of all the evidence, all the connections, all the first and last names, all of the information, you know, that I could get, and showed their connections and their affiliations, you know, and they're trying to act like they're not, you know what I mean? But they are. Behind closed doors, they're laughing and celebrating about the millions of dollars they've generated off of the blood, sweat, and tears of the homeless. And they think that they're super clever, and they think they're super tough. And they're the bottom of the bottom, beside pedophiles and rapists. That's how I compare these people. So they're pissed. And I am eligible for this income. And, you know, now they're trying to, you know, provoke me and instigate me, you know, because they know I'm bipolar and I've been diagnosed with that. So they're trying to pick on people that have mental illness on purpose, right? Low income people, and trying to get me to get mad so that way they can say that, oh, you know, you're becoming aggressive, or you're the aggressor, and, you know, now you're not eligible. That's what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to play with me for a long period of time until I break down mentally, explode, make a threat, say something crazy so that they can use that against me and then cut me off. That's their whole strategy, because I spoke to somebody else in Vancouver that they did that too, you know, and it's BC Housing that they do this, you know what I mean? This is what they do. Their whole establishment is like this. Everybody in BC Housing is like this. The people that run it are criminals, and you know, yeah, so they're all affiliated, and this is what they're doing to me, trying, you know, whatever. They think it's, yo, even if I lose everything, man, like I said, I have how many other provinces to go to, and I've had incomes in a few of them, you know, and I can go back and just reactivate them. I'll get more money than I did out here, and then I'll come back. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll fucking really fuck you guys over, man. And I'll just fuck. I won't even eat. I don't even give a fuck. I won't even eat. I'll take the whole 2 racks. Boom, there you go. There's your fucking campaign, motherfuckers. And then to the point where everybody's going to see the truth about you people and your organizations and the coalition and BC Housing, to the point where it's going to be so overwhelming for you guys. There's going to be millions of people constantly calling your lines, like blowing up your contact forms and stuff, because I'll make sure of it, you know. I really calculated it, and I went and I looked. And when you go on Facebook and you go to try to run a Facebook ad, you can actually see how many people you're going to reach based off of how much money you have for the budget. So you can say, I have $1,000, and it'll tell you you'll be able to reach, depending on, you know, if you're targeting people, English speaking people or whatnot, whatever, right? You can reach, you know, 3.2 million people or more with $1,000 advertising budget. So all I got to do is spend $1,000 and reach 3.2 or more million people with this video on Facebook. Perfect. That's no problem. I'll do that, no problem. You know, even if I become homeless again, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. I've already lived like that forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can go to another city and go do all the advocacy stuff that I just did. Now I have credentials, certifications, experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's too late. You know what I mean? You guys lose, I win. So I can go anywhere else in the country and do the same thing as I did here. But now I know the game. Now I know who you people are by name. You know what I'm saying? So for the next 10 years, I will never stop. And if I'm outside of the province, you can go ahead and try to, you know, make things up to the police and try to, you know, they're already hungry and they want to hurt me and they want to get me or whatever, and find anything they can to make up a criminal charge to put me in jail and put me away. It ain't going to happen, because I'll be outside of your jurisdiction. Because it's not going to be a Canada-wide warrant for defamation or slander, even if there was threats, which there's not. You know, they tried to misinterpret things that I'm saying as a threat so they can manipulate it, twist it, and make it look like a threat so that they can bring that up in court so they can try to charge me for uttering death threats or threats in general. You know, I know about that manipulation too, and the law is very dirty out here too. The court system is dirty. You know, they wanted to give me 2 years in jail for uttering death threats 4 years ago over a text message when somebody threatened me, and I just basically indirectly was like, if anyone tries to hurt me, I'll fucking kill them. That's what I said over a text, emotional text. That person brought that to the cops and said, this guy's saying he's going to kill people. And then fucking warrant dropped for my arrest. And, you know, I went to court, you know, got arrested, went to court, and the Crown wanted 2 years in jail. I have no criminal history in British Columbia. I haven't been to jail prior to that, for 10 years plus. Okay? So you're going to give me 2 years, and I have no offenses at all in British Columbia, no criminal offenses, no criminal history at all. You're going to give me 2 years for uttering death threats over a text indirectly that wasn't even directed at that person. It was a general threat to anyone that comes to hurt me, I will kill, in self-defense. And that's allowed. It's called self-defense. If somebody comes to hurt me and kill me or harm me, and I've been threatened that someone's going to come and kill me, and I'm allowed to kill them in defense of my life. If I fear for my life and I'm actually genuinely scared and I think they're going to kill me or hurt me, and I defend myself in a way that causes blunt trauma to them and that kills them, that's self-defense. You know, you can call it manslaughter if you want, but it's not. It's self-defense. And that's still, manslaughter is only a 3 to 5 year sentence, and you only do 3/4 of that. So I would do like 2-3 years max for a manslaughter charge. You know what I'm saying? But like, that's not the point. My point is that these people will even try to make up criminal things to try to put you away, and the cops want to get me anyways, right? because, you know, I beat that too. You know what I mean? Like, I beat that, I fought that, got 2 years probation, did the whole thing, didn't mess up once, clown them. You know what I mean? Because, you know, if I wanted to be a criminal, you guys would be fucked. You know what I'm saying? You'd be fucking fucked, because where I come from, we don't give a fuck about the law. You're allowed to fucking punch people out where I come from. People get shot in their fucking head. People shoot people and only get 3-5 years, because it's so common and normal where I come from. They're just like, whatever, like, this is how it is. Like, you know what I mean? Out here, you can swear at somebody and go to jail for fucking 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's cowardly. It's very, very fucking weird out here in BC. And they've been wanting to try to get rid of me forever, but I just don't allow it. I fight all the way through, you know? So now they're trying to, I knew they were eventually going to come for the income. That's okay. I already have a backup plan. Everything's straight. Everything's set. So it's just going to make them, it's just going to prove what I'm saying to be true if they do that, you know? And they are doing that. So anyways, I will upload the other video and show you guys everything that I'm talking about in person so you can see.